back to the channel. Today, I'm in beautiful Newport Beach on an island taking a look at the Sony ZV-1F. Maybe not my favorite camera, but definitely my most used camera. This ZV-1F came out about 2 months ago, and it came out with a lot of anticipation because a lot of people were waiting for the perfect vlogging camera. And spoiler alert, this is not it. First of all, let's talk about the wide 20mm f2 lens. Now, a lot of people were saying that this isn't wide enough for vloggers. They were hoping for something like a 16 or 18mm lens. But I'll tell you that 20mm is perfect wide enough for me. I didn't find it to be too tight still, even with using active stabilization all the time. So not a complaint for me, and definitely not a red flag. Any loud airplane? This is not a good spot. So when it comes to built-in ND filters, yes, it is helpful for maintaining the ideal shutter speed, but in all honesty, when it comes to vlogging and behind the scenes footage or just quick footage of my family, I don't care that much about settings. I just care about getting the shot. And if it does bug you a lot and you really want to maintain ideal shutter speed, this has a filter thread on the front that the ZV-1 didn't, so now you can add on an external ND filter and achieve the exact same result. And then the last complaint, and the biggest complaint that I saw a lot of reviewers having, is that they removed the phase detect autofocus system and just have contrast detect autofocus in this camera. Now, in real world use, I find this autofocus system to be very good enough for anything that I'm throwing at it. And in all my vlogs and everything behind the scenes that I've shot thus far, I haven't ever struggled with autofocus and said, man, this is hunting too much and really soft for my liking. Sure, it does hunt sometimes, and it's not as fast and sticky as the ZV-1, but it's definitely good enough. Overall, this camera is just really easy to use. I personally set it into shutter priority, so just let the camera automatically expose, and it's just an easier tool to get your shot. And in the end of the day, that's all that really matters, is the camera easy to use, is it fast, and does it allow you to get the shot that you need? And I think this camera absolutely does. It does it better than the ZV-1 or really any other camera on the market, in my opinion, for vlogging and behind the scenes type work. Enough talking about the camera, let's give you some sample footage. Let's turn this camera off, and the rest of this video will be from the ZV. All right, so now we are on the ZV-1F, and I'm just gonna leave this camera on intelligent auto pretty much for the entire vlog, because I think that's what most people should do. So this camera is just set on auto. I have the little wind muff on right now, and this is the onboard mic. Nothing added to the camera at all, no ND filters, and I'm really not gonna think about settings at all. I'm just gonna show you exactly what this camera can do, how it exposes, and how it acts in real world use. Let me show you my behind the scenes of what I was shooting on. I was shooting on my FX30 on a little GorillaPod. So this is my setup today on Balboa Island. What do you say we explore the island a little bit? I got a little fun toy that I brought with me to do some exploration and test out the ZV-1F. So starting off, I'm in a high contrast lighting area. So how does this camera in real time expose for the face and the eye? I think it's doing a pretty good job with autofocus, even with my glasses on, which is sometimes tricky with these contrast detect autofocuses. All right, I got a little cold, so I had to put on a jacket, but in true tech YouTuber form, what better way to cruise around an island than on an electric skateboard? This is the Meepo V4S. Let's go hit the road. I just picked up this Meepo board and I'm having a blast on it. I really suck on it, so if I fall, crash, and die today, I hope this review was worth it. And this is not a good test of the active stabilization, but it is a good test because I'm popping in and out of sunlight to see how this thing exposes for the face. Oh, also, how does the wind noise sound with the built-in dead cat? Because I'm doing probably 20 miles an hour. I heard there's a boat on this island. Let's go find out. What's up, bro? So that over there is Little Balboa Island, and this is Big Balboa Island. And we have one goal in today's mission for this vlog, is to find tacos, because I think there's actually a really good taco spot on here. I've never been there, but I've been told there's some bomb tacos, so that is the mission for today's vlog. Got Ferris wheels and arcade zones and kids bungee jumping and boats lifted in the air. Thanks, bro. 2. I need to inspect what this fun zone is. Fun zone. I think that was the fun zone. Should bring my daughter there. So what I see so far from this camera is it actually exposes pretty similar to the ZV-1. It exposes well for the face. This is on completely intelligent autofocus. And I don't really have any complaints for the face. It does blow out some of the highlights. It's only 8-bit, so you're not gonna get a lot of the beautiful colors that you are out of a bigger DSLR body or some of the newer mirrorless stuff. But overall for vlogging, I think it does a really good job in terms of intelligent auto exposure. All right, so I just asked a local and I've heard that the taco shop is by the beach at a little shack beachside. So first of all, I gotta find the beach. That's step one. I found the beach. It is over here. I gotta cross this busy street first, get to the beach, and then we're closer to the tacos. Found a soccer field by the beach. How cool is that? Actually, I think I'm gonna stop here. I think this is the perfect place as any to test out the stabilization and show you what it looks like walking and running. So let's do that now. So we're gonna start this test off. This is no stabilization at all. The lens is not stabilized. There's no stabilization built into the camera. And I'm not gonna run this through any type of post-processing stabilization. So this is what it looks like with stabilization completely off. Now this is at its widest setting. So this is a full 20mm focal length. This is me walking back. This is backlit. So let's see how this exposes for the face with the sun coming directly from behind. Again, this is still stabilization off. All right, now this is with active stabilization on. This is me just walking right now. I'm walking completely normal, nothing ninja walk at all. This is just a completely normal walk with active stabilization on. And you can see it does punch in a little bit. I would say it goes from a 20 to probably a 23mm focal length, but I think this is still plenty wide. My arm is not fully extended. I still have a bend in my arm. And let's go walking back. We're gonna walk back. Now you can see it's adjusting right now because the backlight started hitting, so it's gonna start exposing for the face a little bit slow there, but I think the stabilization looks pretty good. And even though it is slow, you just get your shot and then wait a little bit till the exposure kicks in properly. All right, this is active stabilization with me running. Ready, go. This is a jog, and I'm not trying to keep this smooth at all. Now I know a lot of people out there, and I've even seen some reviewers do it, compare this camera directly to the iPhone. So what I'm gonna do right now is compare the stabilization to my iPhone, which is the iPhone 14 Pro, to see which one looks better. All right, this is the iPhone and the Sony ZV-1F, just walking completely normal with stabilization on the ZV-1F, and this is the iPhone, just walking normal without active stabilization on the iPhone. How does that stabilization look? Which one looks better? This is the iPhone over here. This is the ZV-1F over here. This is walking into the sun. Now let's walk backlit and see how it exposes. This is the ZV-1F over here, taking its time exposing for the face. And this is the iPhone. Which one looks better? Which one do you guys think looks better for vlogging? All right, that's enough testing. Back to the real mission. Where are these tacos? I've heard I'm nearby, so let's get back on the board. I think the tacos are over there. I gotta find them. I'm distracted from tacos. Look at this dude. He's got an engine on the back of a parachute, and he's full on flying over the beach. It's pretty cool. All right, back to the tacos. I know it's corny and like very YouTuberish, but it is true. The best way to get around anything exploring any islands like this is 100% on an electric skateboard. It's fun, it's fast, you can just zip around places so quick, and you can just see so much more stuff than you would if you're walking around. It just takes so much more time. I've just been told the taco spot is at the end of this pier, so we're very, very close. We have successfully secured the tacos. It is now time to consume some and give you a full review, because I know that's why you're watching this video. Overall, 7 out of 10, slightly overhyped. let's get back to the tech video. With the built-in wind muff that just goes on top of this camera, I never have to worry about wind noise, or not really. And when you take out your iPhone, you don't have any kind of protection against wind noise. So all of these shots would have horrible audio with the iPhone unless I had some type of big cage and external audio device on there. And that's just not as convenient or practical, so I'd probably shoot it much less. My real world experience, this is one of the most practical cameras that I've ever owned. It adds up because it's small, it's lightweight, it turns on fast, it gets your shot easily and quickly. It's easy to use, there's not a lot of settings that you have to think about, so you focus more on the content and the story that you're trying to shoot, and you just shoot more, at least I do, because like my iPhone, for instance, I have it on me all the time, but it's not very convenient if I'm talking about actually getting quality content, because I got to put on an external mic and then a wind muff and maybe a cage, some kind of handle to hold it. It's not comfortable. And then transferring that footage over, you know, there's no SD card slot, so it's a little bit more difficult on the back end. Just leads me to not want to shoot that as much. And this, I want to shoot it all the time. It's so easy. You just flick it on, you hit play, and then you just worry about your content. And that's what's overall, that's what's most important is, are you shooting a lot? Are you focusing on your content and your story? And are you getting quality footage? I think all of those things you are getting with this little camera, and that's why I highly recommend it. Now, in closing, I also want to touch on value, because this camera is only $499. And really, if you're comparing it against an iPhone, it's not a fair comparison, because that's 2, 3, 4 times as much money as those. And if you're talking about the ZV-1 or the Nikon or Fuji, those are also not as cheap as this camera. So for the price, this is hands down the best content vlogging camera on the market right now. And it's about 2 months old. So in about 3 or 4 months, you're probably gonna start seeing these used for what, $350, $400 price point? For that price, hands down, pick this camera up. It will serve you well into the future. And then if you don't like it, it's gonna hold its value. You could probably sell it and only lose $100 or something. But if this camera is not for you, check out my video reviewing the Sony ZV-1 and other like cameras like this. Maybe you'll find the camera that's perfect for you. If I brought you any value, hit me with a thumbs up and subscribe for more awesome videos. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.